I saw them together in the garden one night. He was leaning in close to her, whispering something, and she was laughing softly. It wasn't the kind of laughter you have with a stepfather, it was different. I froze, hidden behind the bushes, trying to process what I was seeing. This wasn't just wrong, it was a betrayal that could rip the family apart. My name is Linda, and I work as a housekeeper for the Abiola family. They are one of the richest families in Lagos, and my job is to keep the house spotless and handle whatever needs doing. Mr. and Mrs. Abiola have been married for 10 years. He's a kind man, quiet, and always respectful. She's a strong woman, running her business empire and hardly ever home. Mrs. Abiola has a daughter from her first marriage, Kemi. She's 23 now, studying fashion design, and she lives with us. She's polite most of the time but has this way of acting like she owns everything. I don't blame her, she grew up with money and freedom. At first, I didn't notice anything strange. Mr. Abiola and Kemi were always friendly, but nothing out of the ordinary. Mrs. Abiola was hardly around, leaving early in the morning and coming back late at night. She'd barely have dinner with us before locking herself in her office to work. Then things started to feel off. Kemi would spend more time in the living room whenever Mr. Abiola was there. She'd laugh louder at his jokes and sit just a little too close. Once, I saw her touch his arm lightly, like she was testing something. He didn't pull away. I wanted to believe it was innocent, but the way they looked at each other, it was like they shared a secret. The night in the garden confirmed my fears. It wasn't an accident that I saw them. I'd gone outside to fetch some laundry I'd left hanging, and there they were, standing close under the dim garden lights. She was wearing one of those short dresses she liked, and he was leaning in, his hand on her arm. I didn't know what to do. Should I tell Mrs. Abiola? She trusted me, but she was so busy she barely noticed what was going on in her own house. Would she even believe me? Or would I lose my job for trying to interfere? Then, one evening, everything exploded. Mrs. Abiola came home early. I don't know if she suspected something or if it was just bad luck, but she caught them in the guest room. The shouting was like nothing I'd ever heard before. Plates broke. Doors slammed. By the time it was over, Mr. Abiola was gone. Kemi was crying in her room, and Mrs. Abiola sat in the living room, staring at nothing. She didn't ask me what I knew, and I didn't offer. The family never recovered. Mrs. Abiola threw herself even harder into her work, and Kemi moved out not long after. Sometimes, I wonder if things would have been different if Mrs. Abiola had spent more time at home. But then I think about the choices people make, how even the strongest bonds can break under the weight of betrayal. It's not my place to judge, but I've learned one thing: no matter how beautiful a house looks on the outside, you never know what's rotting inside. Thank you for watching this video. Subscribe for more and hit the notification button for my new video.